Buddhang saranang gacchami Dhammang saranang gacchami Sanghang saranang gacchami Jati Pachaya Jara Marana, dependent on birth, decay and death come to be. Friends, today our topic is decay and death, Jara marana. Now, as you all know, we are discussing the 12 links of the dependent origination. Today, we talk about the 12th link, the last one, decay and death. As the Buddha said, it is because of birth, decay and death come to be. Not only decay and death, but also sorrow, lamentation, pain, grief, and despair. They all come to be because of birth. They all are together as a battalion, means indefinite number, indefinite amount. They all come together, multitudes, multitudes of dukkha, multitudes of dukkha come to be because of birth, jati. We talk about jati, about birth last day. Venerable Sariputta explained what decay and death are in the discourse of analysis of the truth from the Majjhima Nikaya. Venerable Sariputta said, decay and death. What is decay and what is death? Let's understand this one by one. Not only decay and death, as I said, sorrow, lamentation, pain, grief, despair, all this come to be because of birth. Now let's understand first what decay and death. Decay means aging. We all become age. We all become decay, decaying day by day, not only day by day, moment by moment, moment by moment. We are decaying. We are aging. This body is aging, decaying on every second, every nanosecond. Venerable Sariputta said, decay, referring to decay, ya tesan sattanam, about referring to the beings, different beings in different realms. You know, there are 31 different realms in which we are born again and again. In their particular realms, different beings, they become old age. Jara. Jara means old age. Jiranata, nature of aging. Khandicham, brokenness, brokenness of hairs, head hairs, body hairs, and skin, teeth. Day by day, we lose these things. Day by day, we lose our hairs, head hairs and body hairs both. Day by day, we lose our skin, our teeth, our nails, such things. That is what is called brokenness, khandicham. Then palicham, they come to the state of maturity, palicham. Valitta chata, wrinkles, wrinkle of our skin. Then ayuno sanghani, ripen of the ayu. Ayu is life. Life comes to end. Decline of life. Ayuno sanghani. And then indriyanam paripako, weakness of faculties. Our indriya, we have 6 indriyas, 6 faculties. These 6 faculties, eyes, ears, nose, tongue, body, and mind. All these faculties, day by day, they come to the state of weakness. That is what is called decaying or aging. Then what is death? Passing away. Death is passing away. Chuti. In Pali, Chuti. Chuti Chavanata. Different beings, they pass away from their different realms. Their body come to the state of dissolution, disintegration, dissolution, disappearance, completion of time. This is what is called death. We all have to face death. Death is unavoidable. Once we are born, death is unavoidable. Once the Buddha said, death, all beings die. Buddha said, all beings die. Because all beings were born. Since all beings were born, they all have to face death. Death is unavoidable, unstoppable. We all have to face death. Once we die, we are born again. This is the problem. That birth and death, that circle is called samsara. So, decay and death. Then together with decay and death, there are some more things. As I said earlier, there are sorrow, lamentation, pain, grief, despair, all this come to be as a block, as a whole, as a bunch, battalion. Sorrow, what is sorrow? Sorrow is the sorrowfulness. It is the sorrowfulness, sorriness, because of encountering some misfortune things, misfortune situation, affected by some painful situations, such as your dear ones, near ones, sickness, or death even. Then you have sorrow, sorrowfulness. That is what is called sorrow. There is sorrow because of birth. It is the result of birth. We all have to face such things because of birth. Then lamentation. What is lamentation? Weeping. We lament. When they lament, they recite, they say something, and then they start to cry. They talk about the person, the qualities of the person. Say, for instance, the dead ones' qualities. Then they loudly say the qualities and what they lost. They talk about what they lost for themselves. And then they start to cry. That is lamentation, weeping and lamenting because of encountering some particular misfortune situation, painful state of mind. That is lamentation. Then what is pain? Pain, sorrow, lamentation, pain. Pain is bodily pain, bodily discomfort, painful, uncomfortable feeling born of bodily contact. That is what is called pain. Then grief. Grief is mental pain. Bodily pain is called pain. Dukkha. Then grief is domanassa. Mental pain, mental discomfort. That is again uncomfortable situation. Mentally, you are dissatisfied. This is what is called grief. Then what is despair? Despair is upayasa. Inside. Ayasa is effort. You make effort to hold something, to stop something, stop the urge, stop the feeling that you have to cry. You want to cry, though, you try to stop it. A state of hopelessness, inner striving. That is your inner striving. You try to resolve or control something, control misfortune situation. As you have encountered such a situation, you want to control it, but it is quite impossible. That is what is called despair, upayasa in Pali. So these are the results of results of birth. So decay, and not only decay and death, decay, death, sorrow, lamentation, pain, grief, and despair. All these seven together, always together, they all are what you call dukkha. Once the Buddha said there are 5 things to be repeatedly recollected all the time, either by a lay person, a clergy, a man, or a woman. What are the 5? Buddha said, Jara dhammo mi jarang anati toti abinham pacca vekkitabban. Jara, decay. One has to repeatedly recollect that one is of the nature to decay. One is not gone beyond decay. That is to be repeatedly recollected. That is the first thing. The second, one has to repeatedly recollect that one has not gone beyond sickness. Not gone beyond sickness. I am of the nature to sickness. That is how one has to understand. One is not gone beyond sickness. That is the second thing. The third one, death. Marana dhammo mi maranang anatito ti abinham paccavekkitappa. Marana is death. I am of the nature to die. I have not gone beyond death. That is to be repeatedly recollected by the laypersons, clergies, man or woman. We all have to repeatedly recollect this. That is the third. The fourth one is Sabbehi me piyehi manapehi nana bhavo vina bhavoti. Pabbajtena abinham paccavekkitappa. Sabbehi me piyehi manapehi. Whatever one's dear and delights, we keep things as we like. We have dear things, dear ones, near ones, delight ones, whatever. All these are of the nature to change. That is to be understood. That also to be repeatedly recollected, that they all, one day they all disappear, vanish. Then the fifth one, Kammasya komi kamma dayadu kamma yoni kamma bandhu kamma patisaranu yang kammang karissami kalyanang va papakang va tassa dayadu bhavisami. Karma is a fact to be repeatedly recollected. Karma is connected to everything. That we have to understand. That is why karma is compared to the linchpin of the chariot. You know, the chariot wheel. Once it is put into the axle, there is a pin. You have to put a pin, otherwise the wheel comes out. So that, like that pin, karma is like that pin, which is essential, the most important thing. Karma. Kamma sako. Saka means swakiya, one's own. Once we have done karma, we are the owners I am the owner of my karma. That is to be understood. I am the owner of my karma. Karma sakomi. Karma dayadu. Karma is my inheritance. I have to take that. I am the heir of the karma. I am the heir of the karma, of my own karma. Whatever I do, mentally, verbally, or physically, whatever I do, I am the heir. I am the owner. Kamma daya, kamma yoni. It is my instrument from which I was born. Kamma daya, kamma yoni. Kamma bandhu, kamma is my relative. Whatever the karma I do, I am the owner. Kamma patisaranu. Kamma is my refuge. Like that, we have to repeatedly recollect these 5 things. Of the 5, 2 are our topic, our subject tonight. Jara and marana, decay and death. When we talk about decaying, there are 2 types of decaying. Decaying of the external things and the decaying of the internal things. You know, the problem is internal decaying. External decaying, externally, whatever external things, is not that much troublesome. What is more important to understand is internally decaying of the internal things. Decay and death both can be stopped. In order to stop this, we have to understand the technique. The Buddha has taught us a technique, a principle, how to stop this. Jara marana. As there were 7 Buddhas during the last 91 eons. It was the Buddha Vipassi, Sikhi, Vesavu, Kakusanda, Konagamana, Kashyapa, and Gautama. They all have taught us the dependent origination. Dependent origination is one of the most important principles, which is a profound teachings of all Buddhas. All Buddhas teach us 3 principles. The 3 are the 3 characteristics of existence, the dependent origination, and the 4 noble truths. These 3. So, dependent origination, according to the biographies of the 7 Buddhas, they all have understood, they all have contemplated upon the dependent origination even before their enlightenments. Before their enlightenment. As unenlightened bodhisattva, they have contemplated upon the dependent origination. It is crystal clear. It is very clearly said in the Samyukta Nikaya, chapter 12. Vipassi, Sikhi, Vesabu, Kakusanda, Konagamana, Kashyapa, Gautama. There are suttas about the 7 Buddhas. They all have contemplated upon this. How did they contemplate upon? They thought how this decay and death should be stopped. That is how they thought, how they contemplated. How should I stop this decay and death? Decay and death is the problem. It is to be understood and it is to be ceased. In order to stop this, the Buddha Vipassi, according to the Vipassi Sutta, it is said the unenlightened Bodhisattva Vipassi contemplated how should I stop this decay and death. In order to understand this, he understood first how this decay and death come to be. Then he understood the decay and death come to be because of birth. Then what is to be stopped? Simply decay and death cannot be stopped because there are results, there are causes. The cause of decay and death should be understood. And in order to stop it, in order to cease it, one has to cut off the cause, stop the cause, remove the cause. What is the cause of decay and death? The cause of decay and death is birth. Then decay and death cannot be stopped. What is to be stopped? Birth is to be stopped. That is how the Buddha Vipassi understood. Unenlightened Bodhisattva, of course. Bodhisattva Vipassi understood this. Decay and death cannot be stopped unless we stop birth. Then he thought, how should I stop birth? He understood birth cannot be stopped. Then what is to be stopped? Existence should be stopped. Existence. As long as there is existence, then we are born again and again. Therefore, birth cannot be stopped, but existence should be stopped. Then he contemplated upon how should I stop this existence, bhava. Bhava, the existence cannot be stopped until the cause is removed. What is the cause of existence? The cause of existence is attachment, upadana. Then attachment should be stopped. That is how he contemplated. Even attachment, when you think of this, he understood that attachment cannot be stopped unless he removed the cause of attachment. What is the cause of attachment? The cause of attachment is craving. Craving should be stopped. In order to stop attachment, one has to stop craving. Craving cannot be stopped without stopping feeling. Feeling cannot be stopped without removing contact. Contact is to be removed. But contact, in order to remove contact, stop contact, one has to remove, one has to stop the cause of contact. What is the cause of contact? 6 sense bases. 6 sense bases should be removed, should be ceased, but 6 sense bases cannot be stopped, removed, ceased until the cause is to be removed. What is the cause? Mentality and physicality. Mentality and physicality is the cause of the 6 sense bases. Then mentality and physicality should be ceased. But as long as there is consciousness, it is impossible. Because consciousness depends on mentality and physicality. Physicality and mentality depend on consciousness. Therefore, consciousness is to be removed. He understood. The Buddha Vipassana. And then, in order to remove consciousness, one has to remove volitional formations. As long as there are volitional formations, consciousness cannot be removed. Then how should I remove these volitional formations? He contemplated upon and understood that as long as there is ignorance, these volitional formations cannot be removed. Therefore, he understood the ignorance should be removed. Ignorance is the cause. How should I remove this ignorance? Then he understood ignorance is dependent on pains. One side it is dependent on pains, the other side 5 hindrances. 5 hindrances are to be stopped. That is the practical aspect. That is what we can do. That is from where we have to stop. We have to start and stop this 5 hindrances. On the one hand, on the other hand, ignorance is fed. Ignorance is fed by 3 kinds of pains: kamasava, bhavasava, and avijjasava. Asava, pains in Pali, asava. These pains should be stopped. Kamasava means sensual, pains of sensuality, sensual pleasures. Bhavasava, pains of existence. Avijjasava, pains of ignorance. These are to be removed. Once these are removed, ignorance is removed. That is how we have to do. In order to, when we have removed ignorance, then there is, with the cessation of ignorance, the volitional formations come to cease. With the cessation of volitional formations, consciousness comes to cease. With the cessation of consciousness, mentality and materiality, mentality and physicality come to cease. When with the cessation of mentality and physicality, 6 sense bases come to cease. With the cessation of 6 sense bases, contact comes to cease. With the cessation of contact, feeling comes to cease. With the cessation of feeling, craving comes to cease. With the cessation of craving, attachment comes to cease. With the cessation of attachment, existence comes to cease. With the cessation of existence, birth comes to cease. With the cessation of birth, decay and death both come to cease. Friends, This is the way. This is the way to cease, stop decay and death. This is the wonderful teachings of the Buddha, the most profound teaching of the Buddha, the Paticca Samuppada. Let's study this further. Next day, we can understand further about the dependent origination. We want to understand this clearly. In order to understand this clearly day by day, let's study this and understand. To all, if you'd like to read about Paticca Samuppada, the dependent origination, please read the connected discourses of the Buddha, chapter 12. Chapter 12, causation. And also please read the Mahanidana Sutta of the Digha Nikaya. Mahanidana. It is a great discourse on causation. Mahanidana. So when we read this, when we study this further, we can understand this clearly, and this is the way to cease all dukkha, decay, death, sorrow, lamentation, pain, grief, and despair. They all come to cease. So let's understand this wonderful teachings of the Buddha and practice accordingly so that we can understand, we can realize real peace, real happiness of Nibbana. May we all attain supreme bliss of Nibbana. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.